Welcome back to Golden Acre Homestead. Quick question before we get our hands dirty. Did you know a standard apple tree practically steals 900 square feet of your precious backyard? It demands 5 to 7 full years of your life before handing you a single, solitary bite of fruit. That is half a decade of waiting, constant pruning, and spraying sticky bug juice just to keep worms out of the skin.
Wait, 5 to 7 years? What are we actually getting after all that back-breaking labor?
About half a pound of fruit per square foot. Brutal, right? Most backyards are secretly trapped in low-yield prison without even realizing it. Now, here is a stat that made me completely rethink my own garden. A single cherry tomato plant on just 2 square feet yields 6 times more food than that massive tree in its very first summer from a 4-month-old seed. And believe me, that tomato isn't even the star of our list today. We are counting down 50 insane, high-yield powerhouses backed by university extension data and real dirt-under-the-fingernails homestead experience. Let's dive in. Number 1. Strawberries. Look, almost everyone grows these completely wrong. We buy 6 sad little nursery starts, stick them in a forgotten garden corner, pick a small handful in June, and call it a day.
Guilty as charged. That is literally what I did last spring.
Exactly. That is like buying a heavy-duty pickup truck just to deliver a single postcard. A single strawberry plant produces about 1 pound per season, which sounds modest until you harness exponential geometry. Strawberries shoot out runners that root themselves into brand new clone plants without you lifting a finger. But here is the secret trick 99% of gardeners miss: vertical towers. Stack 18 plants inside a vertical tower on 1 square foot and boom, 18 pounds of fresh fruit. Plant day-neutral varieties like Albion and you will be snacking straight until the winter frost hits. Next up, number 2, fall-bearing raspberries. Have you checked the farmers market prices lately? $4 to $8 a pound because fresh raspberries spoil if you just look at them funny. According to Oregon State University Extension data, raspberries produce up to 2.7 pounds per foot of row. A 10-foot strip, narrower than your hallway, delivers up to 27 pounds of organic berries. That is $200 worth of produce from 30 square feet. The secret to effortless growth lies in fall-bearing primocane varieties like Heritage. Instead of wrestling with complicated pruning guides, you simply chop every single cane down to the ground in late winter. In spring, fresh shoots pop up, fruiting by September. You cut, harvest, and repeat with basically zero fuss. Moving to number 3, thornless blackberries. If raspberries are high value, blackberries are pure, unstoppable muscle. Semi-erect, thornless varieties like Triple Crown yield up to 35 pounds per plant.
35 pounds? From just one bush? Are you feeding them growth hormones over there?
Just good compost and sunshine. In roughly 16 square feet, a mature Triple Crown blackberry yields over 2 pounds per square foot. That is 3 to 4 times the food density of an apple tree from the space of a small card table. Modern cultivars like Natchez and Triple Crown produce massive berries on smooth canes, meaning you pick juicy fruit bare-handed with 0 blood sacrifices required at harvest time. Number 4 on our list, high bush blueberries. Now, I will be honest with you, blueberries test your patience. They take about 5 years to hit peak production, which scares most folks away. But skipping them is a $2,500 mistake. A mature shrub drops 5 to 10 pounds annually, around $50 every summer. And unlike delicate fruit trees, blueberry bushes live and produce for over 50 years. That is $2,500 in lifetime value sitting in a tiny 9 square foot footprint.
What's the catch? Why do so many people manage to kill their blueberry bushes?
It is all about soil pH. Blueberries are absolute divas for acidic soil. They demand a pH between 4.5 and 5.5. Amend your soil with elemental sulfur, test your dirt, and you get free berries for the rest of your life. At number 5, black currants. In 1911, the federal government officially banned black currants nationwide because they carried white pine blister rust, threatening commercial timber. That ban lasted nearly a century, causing an entire generation of American gardeners to forget this superfood even existed. But they are back, and better than ever. A mature black currant bush yields 10 pounds of fruit from a footprint smaller than a patio chair, packing 4 times more vitamin C than fresh oranges. Plant disease-resistant varieties like Titania to restore this forgotten gem to your yard. Entry number 6. Gooseberries. Gooseberries suffered that exact same historic federal ban, compounded by another issue. They are far too soft to survive commercial shipping trucks. Grocery stores cannot sell them, but a well-established bush yields up to 10 pounds annually, right in heavy clay and partial shade. Even better, you get 2 distinct crops. Harvest them green in early summer for tart pies and savory sauces, or let them ripen into deep pink globes that burst with honey-sweet dessert flavor. Number 7. Honeyberries, also known as haskaps. Quick question. What are you harvesting in late May when your fruit trees are still just sleepy blossoms on a branch?
Weeds, mostly.
Exactly. But honeyberries ripen 2 to 3 weeks before strawberries, making them the earliest fruiting berry in North America. Their cold hardiness is mind-blowing. Open flowers survive 14 degrees, and the shrubs endure -49 degrees. The flavor tastes like wild blueberry, raspberry, and elderberry combined. Varieties like Aurora and Borealis produce for over 30 years, with almost zero pest or disease issues. Entry number 8. Lingonberries. Standing barely 12 inches tall, lingonberries look like modest landscape shrubs until you calculate their production density. Planted tightly, their yield hits 1 pound per square foot. That is double the output of a massive apple tree from ankle-high plants. You get 2 harvests a year, in July and October. Their root systems naturally suppress weed seeds, and the berries hold natural benzoic acid, meaning they stay crisp in your refrigerator for up to 5 weeks without spoiling. Number 9. Aronia berries, commonly known as chokeberries. Health food stores love charging $30 a pound for dried aronia powder. Meanwhile, cities plant this exact native shrub in strip mall parking lots as basic landscaping.
Wait, people are walking past $30 superfoods in parking lots?
Every single day. Nobody realizes they are edible. A mature aronia shrub yields 15 to 20 pounds of fruit per year with 0 spraying. Their antioxidant score is triple that of blueberries. Blending them into smoothies or simmering them into syrups neutralizes the bitterness completely. Number 10. Sea buckthorn. This is one of the only plants on Earth containing all 4 essential omega fatty acids, 3, 6, 7, and 9. Its vitamin C concentration reaches up to 2,500 milligrams per 100 grams, 15 times higher than fresh oranges. A mature shrub yields up to 20 pounds of bright orange berries. Even better, sea buckthorn pulls nitrogen gas straight out of the atmosphere and deposits free fertilizer right into your soil, feeding surrounding plants while producing high-value medicinal fruit. Moving into vertical climbing crops, entry number 11, pole beans. Pole beans can produce up to 3 pounds of food per plant vertically across a full season, grown on a trellis, taking half a square foot of ground. That translates to 2 pounds per square foot, 4 times the density of an apple tree in just 8 weeks. While yielding heavy pods, pole beans fix nitrogen into your garden beds. Varieties like Vortex produce tender pods all summer long, provided you pick them every few days. Entry number 12, sugar snap peas. Peas solve the early season food gap, producing heavily during cool April and May weather when fruit trees are barely waking up. Grown vertically on a trellis, they yield up to 1 pound per square foot. By planting edible pod varieties like Super Sugar Snap, you eat the entire pod, instantly doubling your harvest weight. Once summer heat arrives, cut them at the soil line, leaving nitrogen-rich roots behind to feed your incoming tomatoes. Number 13. Indeterminate cherry tomatoes. A single vigorous cherry tomato plant in full sun routinely produces between 200 and 400 individual fruits.
That feels like infinite salad and snack potential right off the vine.
Absolutely. Experienced market gardeners harvest over 25 pounds from a single plant occupying 4 square feet. yielding over 6 pounds per square foot. That is 12 times the output of an apple tree, achieved in 4 months from a seed started on your windowsill. Varieties like Sun Gold generate unbelievable yields. Entry number 14. Trellised cucumbers. If you let cucumbers sprawl across the ground, stop right now. Growing cucumbers vertically on a trellis reduces fungal diseases by 50% through improved airflow. It also yields 15 to 25 pounds of cucumbers from a single square foot of ground space. Modern parthenocarpic varieties like Diva set fruit without requiring bee pollination, making them exceptionally productive for small urban yards or patio setups. Number 15. Malabar spinach. Ever get frustrated when summer heat causes standard spinach to bolt and turn bitter? Malabar spinach thrives in scorching heat. This tropical vine grows up to a foot a day. In 90-degree heat, it produces thick, glossy, edible leaves all summer long. Supported on a trellis, a single vine yields up to 4 pounds per square foot, providing continuous salad greens when everything else wilts. Entry number 16. Kale. Love it or hate it, kale is a biennial workhorse, meaning a single plant can produce continuously for up to 2 full years. Utilize the cut-and-come-again harvesting method. Snap off lower outer leaves while leaving the growing center intact. And one plant provides nonstop harvests from spring through deep winter. When hard frost hits, kale converts starches into sugars as natural antifreeze, making winter kale significantly sweeter. Varieties like Lacinato yield over a pound per square foot. Entry 17. Loose leaf lettuce. Nothing matches loose leaf lettuce for pure speed. Cut-and-come-again varieties produce harvestable baby leaves just 3 weeks after germination. By harvesting outer leaves weekly and succession planting new seeds every 2 weeks, a single square foot yields 6 to 8 crops per year. That equals 6 pounds of crisp salad greens per square foot annually, turning a $2 seed packet into more organic food than $50 at the supermarket. Number 18. Swiss chard. Swiss chard possesses an incredible superpower. It tolerates freezing 32-degree winter frost and 95-degree summer heat without bolting. Real spinach and lettuce simply cannot do that. A single planting yields continuous harvests from May through November, producing over a pound per square foot. Botanically, Swiss chard is the exact same species as the beet, bred specifically for massive leafy harvests rather than roots. Entry number 19. Beets. Speaking of beets, talk about getting 2 harvests from a single footprint. You get nutrient-dense leafy greens above ground and heavy, sugar-rich roots below. Thin young seedlings for early microgreens. Harvest outer leaves during summer and pull mature roots in autumn. Combined yields reach 4 pounds per square foot. Plus, beet seeds are naturally multi-germ, meaning each casing contains a cluster of seeds for automatic high-density growth. Number 20. Chives and bunching onions. Chives are absolute culinary perennials. Plant a clump once and it produces continuous harvests for decades without replacement.
Can't you also regrow grocery store green onions in dirt for free?
You sure can. Stick discarded green onion roots into soil, and you grow a permanent onion patch for $0. Cut green stems down to an inch above the soil, and they fully regrow within a week. Perennial bunching varieties like Evergreen Hardy White multiply underground year after year. Entry number 21. Elderberries. The commercial elderberry supplement market is a multi-billion-dollar industry selling syrup and tinctures. Planting 2 or 3 bushes completely eliminates buying it at retail prices. Extension trials confirm mature elderberries yield 12 to 15 pounds per shrub by year 3. Just remember, raw elderberries must be cooked before consumption to neutralize cyanogenic compounds, turning them into delicious immune-supporting syrups for your family. Number 22. Goji berries. Almost every goji berry sold in stores arrives dried from overseas. The fresh version, sweet, tangy, and juicy, is a luxury money cannot buy. Goji shrubs yield up to 6 pounds of fruit per plant, bearing berries continuously from midsummer straight through to the first hard winter freeze. They tolerate poor soil, handle drought once established, and endure sub-zero winter temperatures without needing any protection. Entry 23. Ground cherries. Ground cherries are the ultimate lazy gardener crop because they harvest themselves. When fruit fully ripens, it drops to the ground wrapped inside a protective, papery husk.
They drop to the dirt and don't bruise?
Not at all. The husk cushions the impact, keeping the fruit clean and allowing it to store at room temperature for weeks. A single plant yields up to 300 fruits in 75 days. Heirloom varieties like Aunt Molly's taste like sweet tropical pineapple mixed with vanilla. Number 24, Cape gooseberries. Known as amour en cage in high-end dining, Cape gooseberries command up to $40 a pound as a luxury dessert fruit. They look like large ground cherries, but offer a far richer, sweet tart berry flavor. A single outdoor plant yields 2 to 4 pounds, while greenhouse research demonstrates potential yields up to 53 pounds per plant over extended seasons. Entry 25, dwarf mulberries. Standard mulberry trees grow 40 feet tall and stain entire driveways purple. Dwarf varieties like dwarf everbearing change the game completely. They produce 15 to 25 pounds of berries on a bush kept just 4 to 6 feet tall, fruiting continuously for 5 solid months. Because fresh mulberries are far too delicate to ship, growing a dwarf bush at home is the only way to enjoy this sweet, wine-like fruit fresh from the branch. Moving right along to number 26, alpine strawberries. Regular strawberries love to spread runners everywhere and turn into a messy jungle. But alpine strawberries follow a totally different strategy. They produce 0 runners. They stay in neat, tidy little clumps while pumping out fruit continuously from May straight through the first freeze. Known in gourmet restaurants as fraises des bois, these tiny berries pack 10 times the punch of grocery store strawberries.
But don't the local birds steal every single red berry before you can pick them?
Here is the ultimate pro hack. Grow the yellow wonder variety. They ripen into a creamy pale yellow with a sweet pineapple twist. Because birds only hunt for bright red fruit, they fly right past your plants, leaving your harvest completely untouched. Entry number 27, service berries. If you live up north where brutal winter chills wipe out peach and apple trees, service berries are your cold climate superhero. These rugged shrubs shrug off temperatures down to minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Top-performing varieties produce up to 11.5 pounds per bush. They look like blueberries, but botanically they are cousins to apples, giving you a sweet berry with a delicious hint of almond flavor. Number 28, josta berries. Imagine taking the deep flavor of black currants, crossing them with tart gooseberries, stripping away every single painful thorn, and giving the plant total immunity to powdery mildew. That is a josta berry. This triple-cross hybrid yields up to 12 pounds per bush. Unlike standard gooseberries that demand a blood sacrifice from your bare hands, josta berry branches are completely smooth, making harvest day a breeze. Entry 29, wonder berries. Back in the early 1900s, legendary American plant breeder Luther Burbank released the wonderberry, setting off a wild media scandal when critics falsely claimed it was toxic.
Wait, was it actually poisonous? Or just garden drama?
Classic garden drama. Here is the honest truth. Green, unripe berries contain solanine and should never be eaten. But once they turn a dull, deep blue-black, they are completely safe and delicious. A compact 15-inch plant produces hundreds of berries in just 80 days, baking into pies that easily rival wild blueberry. Number 30, goumi berries. Many gardeners hear about the massive yields of autumn olive, but autumn olive is highly invasive and banned across several states. Goumi berries give you all the perks with none of the ecological guilt. A single mature goumi bush yields up to 15 pounds of tart, cherry-like fruit loaded with lycopene. Even better, its roots pump nitrogen straight into your soil, naturally fertilizing the neighboring plants in your orchard. Entry 31, hot peppers. Most people treat hot peppers as a cute little salsa garnish, but that vastly underestimates their financial power in a small yard. A single habanero plant easily drops 50 to 100 peppers. That is up to 5 pounds of fruit from 4 square feet. Given farmers' market prices for specialty hot peppers, one bush generates serious pantry value. Plus, varieties like cayenne dry effortlessly on a string for year-round spice racks without using any freezer space. Moving to number 32, eggplant. Eggplants love summer heat more than almost any other vegetable in your garden. Trials show top varieties producing over 6 pounds per plant, yielding 3 times the food density of an apple tree canopy.
Any insider trick to get them to set more fruit during hot spells?
Invite the bumblebees! Bumblebees perform buzz pollination, vibrating their wings at a specific acoustic frequency that shakes stubborn pollen loose from the flowers. Plant some borage or sweet alyssum nearby. Let the bees do their dance and watch your harvest explode. Entry number 33, tomatillos. A single healthy tomatillo plant produces up to 15 pounds of fruit. Just remember to plant at least 2 for cross-pollination, or you will end up with empty husks. Each fruit grows inside its own papery protective jacket, keeping bugs away and allowing your harvest to sit on the kitchen counter for weeks without spoiling. Roast them into homemade salsa verde, freeze the batches, and you have gourmet Mexican meals all winter long. Number 34, okra. Okra has one strict golden rule. You must pick the pods every 1 to 2 days. If you get lazy and let a pod grow into a massive wooden baseball bat, the plant assumes its job is done and stops flowering. Keep picking them tender at 2 to 3 inches long, and the plant frantically pumps out new blossoms. Halfway through summer, you can even cut the main stem back down to 6 inches. It will rapidly branch out and deliver a second, massive autumn harvest from that same spring plant. Entry 35, zucchini. There is an old running joke among gardeners that you should always lock your car doors in August, otherwise your neighbors will sneak over and leave giant zucchinis on your front seat.
I have definitely been on both the giving and receiving end of that vegetable drop-off.
It is a Homestead classic. A single plant easily drops 10 to 25 pounds of food, yielding 5 times the density of a traditional orchard. If you struggle with powdery mildew or lazy local pollinators, look for parthenocarpic varieties like Dunya, which set fruit effortlessly, even in imperfect conditions. Number 36, Egyptian walking onions. These plants literally walk across your yard. The plant forms clusters of mini bulblets at the top of tall green stems. As the stalks grow heavy, they lean over and touch the dirt a couple of feet away, where the bulblets take root and start a brand new clump. Every single part is edible: green tops, top bulblets, and underground bulbs. It is a self-planting, perennial scallion factory that expands every single season on its own. Entry 37, tree collards. Imagine planting a tender leafy green once and harvesting fresh greens from that same plant for the next 20 years. Tree collards are perennial brassicas that grow like small woody trees up to 10 feet tall. A single plant yields up to 15 pounds of nutritious greens annually from a tiny footprint. Because they rarely go to seed, you propagate them through simple stem cuttings, making them living heirlooms shared hand-to-hand among neighbors. Number 38, moringa. Moringa can shoot up 20 feet in a single warm season, but if you keep it pruned as a 6-foot bush, it flushes tender superfood leaves every month.
Isn't moringa supposed to be an absolute nutritional powerhouse?
Gram for gram, fresh moringa leaves pack more vitamin A than carrots, more calcium than dairy milk, more iron than spinach, and more potassium than bananas. If you live in a cold zone, simply grow it in a 5-gallon container and drag it indoors next to a sunny window for the winter. Entry 39, nasturtiums. Nasturtiums give you 3 completely distinct harvests from one seed: peppery green salad leaves, gorgeous edible blossoms for gourmet plating, and green seed pods that you can pickle into poor man's capers. On top of that, they act as sacrificial trap crops in your garden beds, luring hungry aphids away from your precious cabbages and squash. Number 40, purslane. Millions of homeowners spend weekend afternoons spraying weed killer on purslane in their sidewalk cracks, completely unaware that it holds the highest omega-3 fatty acid levels of any leafy green on the planet. Cultivated varieties like Goldberg Golden grow tall, upright, and succulent, ready to pick in 6 weeks. Harvesting repeatedly yields up to 3 pounds of crisp, slightly lemony greens per square foot. Entry 41, French sorrel. Sorrel is an ultra-hardy perennial that punches through Cold Spring mud weeks before other garden greens wake up. Its signature citrus punch comes from natural oxalic acid, creating that classic French tangy sorrel sauce. Plant sterile varieties like Profusion to avoid unwanted garden seedlings while securing permanent, self-renewing lemony salad greens for decades. Number 42, New Zealand spinach. Discovered by Captain James Cook's crew in 1770 to keep sailors free from scurvy, New Zealand spinach thrives in 90-degree heat that melts traditional spinach into mush. It works wonders as an edible living mulch beneath taller tomatoes and peppers, producing heavy ground cover while snails and slugs actively avoid chewing on its thick, succulent leaves. Entry 43, Amaranth. Revered by ancient Aztec civilizations as sacred survival food, amaranth gives you tender, spinach-like greens all summer, followed by up to 2,000 pounds of nutritious grain per acre. When eaten alongside corn, amaranth grain creates a complete protein profile equivalent to milk. Producing over 4 pounds of leafy greens per square foot, it is arguably the ultimate resilient survival crop. Number 44, radishes. If you want instant gratification, the cherry bell radish goes from a microscopic seed to a crisp root on your plate in just 22 days.
22 days! That is faster than my Amazon packages arrive sometimes.
It is lightning fast. By succession planting a new pinch of seeds every 2 weeks across a 7-month season, you pull 8 to 10 successive harvests from that exact same patch of dirt, delivering up to 10 pounds of fresh food per square foot every year. Entry 45, rainbow carrots. Fun historical fact, purple and yellow carrots were the original wild varieties before Dutch growers bred the classic orange root in honor of royalty. Rainbow carrots sell for premium prices at markets and add vibrant color to your kitchen table. Tightly spaced at 16 roots per square foot, 2 seasonal plantings deliver 8 to 12 times more food output than an apple tree canopy. Number 46, Genovese basil. Space basil 4 plants per square foot. Keep the soil moist, and you will harvest 4 pounds of aromatic leaves per square foot. At supermarket prices of $4 for a tiny plastic clamshell, that single square foot yields up to $80 worth of pesto value. Just pinch off flower buds the second they appear to force the plant's energy directly into lush leaf production. Entry 47, cilantro and coriander. This humble herb gives you 2 separate culinary staples from one planting. Fragrant green cilantro leaves early on, followed by mature, dried coriander seeds for your spice grinders later in summer. Stagger your plantings every couple of weeks, and you will never need to buy wilted supermarket herb bundles again. Number 48, contained mint. We all know mint is an aggressive monster that will happily take over your entire garden bed through subterranean runners.
I planted spearmint directly in the ground 5 years ago, and I am pretty sure it is currently planning a takeover of my living room floor.
We have all made that mistake once. The trick is sinking a large bottomless pot into the ground and planting your mint inside it. The plastic barrier traps the aggressive roots while allowing you to shear the top foliage down to the dirt multiple times a season for endless fresh tea, culinary seasoning, and natural mosquito deterrents. Entry 49, Hakkare salad turnips. Forget those bitter, woody, purple turnips from old-school lunch trays. Hakkare turnips mature in 30 days and taste crisp, juicy, and naturally sweet enough to eat raw right out of the soil like a mini apple. Succession planting yields continuous harvests of both porcelain white roots and tender, vitamin-packed turnip greens. And finally, entry number 50, vertical microgreens. This single indoor method makes almost every outdoor crop look modest by comparison. A standard 10 by 20 inch shallow tray yields up to a pound of fresh greens in just 7 to 14 days. Sunflower microgreens produce 16 ounces of dense food in 9 days flat. Stack several trays vertically on an inexpensive 4-tier wire rack under basic LED shop lights in a spare closet or garage corner. Suddenly, you are pulling over 100 pounds of nutrient-dense greens per square foot of floor space annually, completely immune to outdoor weather, pests, or seasons. Now, does all this mean you should run outside with a chainsaw and chop down your backyard apple trees? Of course not. Large fruit trees provide shade, garden beauty, bird habitats, and reliable long-term fruit crops. The true homestead approach is all about smart vertical stacking. Let your fruit trees anchor the space for the long haul, while packing every single square foot beneath them with strawberries, climbing vines, cut and come again salad beds, and indoor tray greens.
It is all about working smarter with the square footage you actually have.
You bet! So let me know in the comments below, which of these 50 high-yield powerhouses are you planting this upcoming season? Are you a berry fanatic? Or are you trying vertical greens for the first time? Happy planting, everybody, and let's get growing!